All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My brothers and sisters over at Patron, Pastor Dowell here. I want to be able to speak about something here this morning that needs to be spoken about, needs to be said. And while saying this, I want to try to do my best to reach us. And I'm going to try my best all that I can. But I really truly need for a lot of you young people to listen and listen real close. All right. And this also goes for older people who have never been under authority. All right. You remember the Roman centurion? He says, I'm a man of authority. And when I tell men to go, they go, they come. When I tell them to come, they come. So I'm a man in authority. I'm a man under authority. That means that people, when they tell me what to do, then I do it, because that's just the structure and order of things. It appalls me that when we get to the faith, how we relax the order of things. And I realize, and I'm going to say this, I want y'all to listen to me real close. You know, I've been a pastor for a long time now, and it's no secret I'm a veteran, okay, a 10-year veteran, all right? But the people that I have always had the least amount of trouble with, and I'm not saying, and I'm not painting a broad brush all the way across the spectrum and saying that it's only conducive to just these type of people, caliber of people, because like I said, there are different levels of discipline, there are different levels of professionalism in everything that you do, all right? But I've had the least amount of problems with military veterans, and let me stop right there say this, those who have been in a greater level of discipline than regular Army soldiers, because there is just literally, sincerely, a difference. When you are in the upper echelon of discipline, you are a more professional soldier than just regular Army soldiers that have no special skills. And that's not to say that they're any less of a man or a woman, but that's just saying that there's a little difference, because I've been on both sides of the track, because you have to come up through the ranks in order to, get on both sides of the track, and then you have to volunteer for a lot of this stuff. But and then I've had very, very little trouble with professionals. And when I say professionals, I'm talking about, the brothers that are in the professional level and has been at the professional level, like Brother Kabir, Brother Rob Mathis, and Brother Daniel. Never had any lick of trouble or problem out of them whatsoever at all. And so you can pretty much tell the people who have been in leadership and under leadership. I've had very little trouble with people who have previously or still are business owners, because a business owner, they think differently, and they respond differently, act differently. And I can tell you that there's a difference between someone who's played professional football and then those who have been at the college levels or high school levels. It's just a total different outlook on life, a total different perspective, a total different level of discipline. And I've had, I can just say this, and I'm saying this because in everything that you do in this life, there's an order. There's an order to everything. And it's amazing that when we're over here in the faith or the way, that many of you have this constitution that order is no longer viable, or nor does it stand. I mean, you had, no matter how many times you read in the book, you had captains, you had officers, you had elders in Israel, and order, a structure, a chain of command. Same thing in the military, you have a chain of command. Same thing in football, you have the coaches, and then you have appointed captains. on the team. Chain of command. There's an order. There has to be an order, because without order, there's no discipline. And without discipline, there's no professionalism. And a true professional is always a man or woman of humility, because they understand power and they understand strength that has been delegated to them or given to them or granted to them. Today, most of you have never, ever truly been directly under authority. Nor have you ever truly really been in authority. And when I say been in authority, I'm talking about where you've got direct responsibility for people's lives and their livelihood. And if we don't get this as a people, and we continue to keep acting in this rebellious nature right here, we're not going to be worth a damn as a people. We're just simply not. When I read Hebrews 13, verse 7, it says, remember them which have the rule over you. All right. Remember them which have the rule over you. Remember them which have the rule. Now, when someone has the rule over you, that means that they lead and they have the command. Okay. And they are a judge and a ruler. I'm using the actual Greek dictionary for the word rule. All right. Who have spoken unto you the word of Yah. Then it says this, whose faith follow. You understand what I mean? In other words, their conviction, their reliance, their consistency, the way that they respond, the way they react. You know what they believe, because you can see their faith, because it follows the word. It follows their leadership. All right. It follows the word that they're actually speaking. And then it says, considering the end of their conversation, that means considering the end of their behavior. And then it goes on to say in verse 17, it says, obey them that have the rule. You know, the ones that are the judge, the ones that are lead, the ones that are command, and submit yourselves. Notice what it says. Submit yourselves means you yield yourself, you surrender yourself. That does not make you any less of a man or woman when you obey that. If someone is your husband, your master, your leader, your pastor, the elders, the book teaches us automatically you submit. It's not for you to be their judge. They are in a position to judge you, and there's a reason why they're there. All right? It says, submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls. You hear that? That they must give an account. They watch for your soul. They must give an account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for it is unprofitable to you. Because, see, most people don't understand that while being in authority and having his rule, if the Most High Yah bought you here, he bought you here to teach you. He bought you here to give you comprehension and understanding of the way that we're in right here. And he didn't put you in front of a bunch of simple-minded men. He did not do that and stuff. But at the same time, we also have the power not only to adjudicate matters, but the power to judge. We have the power to let you be anathema, a maranatha, or we have the power to excommunicate, excommunicado. We have a lot of authority in this if you're not going to get with the proverbial program. And so we're never going to be strong as a people, and we're never going to be strong as an Israelite nation as long as everybody has their own mind, doing that which is right in their own eyes. And anytime authority tell you something, you got to come back, you got to clap back, you always got a rebuttal, you always got something else that's in your mind. How many times does the Most High Yah have got to prove to you over and over again that those that are in authority, they're there for a reason, and because of their wise choices and decisions, because of their experiences, and because of the way that they have handled things, it shows that they have been ordained for that. That doesn't mean that they are a man that is infallible or not flawed. No, that's not that. That's not that at all. It's just that they are there in authority, and therefore they are there for a reason. And then the Bible teaches you over in Romans 13 that let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, but there be no power except that which is ordained of Yah. That's us. That's us. The people that have been called of Yah. And, you know, we are seriously going to have to really, truly get the fear of Yah back in our hearts. The Most High Yah is not playing around when he tells you, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as unto the Lord. You may relax that because of this Gentile society and the way that our European counterparts have literally taught us how to disobey Yah because they've graced us out of everything. Grace, 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 grace. You can be the most disobedient, gainsaying people of the world all you want. And how long are we that in leadership supposed to put up with your continued inconsistencies? How long are we supposed to put up with your continual rebellion? How long are we supposed to continue to keep put up with your selfishness? You see, that's the key right there, because the Bible teaches us after the first and after the second admonition, reject. Because what you're doing, you're flat out showing that you don't care if you subvert your soul, and you don't care if you're a cancerous figure around those that are with you. You just simply don't care. And if you can't simply get simple instructions, you can't comprehend simple instructions and simple guidelines, then the only way that we have left to us is to exercise our power by removing you, unless you become more of a cancer to the people. Because if we don't judge you, if we don't put disciplines on you, then the other people, the rest of the people, are going to be emboldened to think that, you know what, they got away with it. They can do this, so we can do it. And see, we can't have that attitude, because then we're going to have anarchy, and we can't have the saints ruling the kingdom. That ain't the way it works in this order right here. In this order right here. Now we're going to be rulers in the kingdom to come, but in this right here, brothers and sisters, we can't have you ruling over the prophets, the apostles, the pastors, the evangelists, the teachers, the elders, the deacons. There's a reason why that they're all there. There's a reason why. It makes no difference what you may think about them, your personal preference or your personal judgment or your personal attitude. It's totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. You didn't put them there, and you can't take them away. Y'all bought you here for a reason. You have to start off in the order of submission. You must start off that way. You got to learn how to be very adaptive. You've got to learn how to shut your mouth. You got to learn how to not let your mouth override your spirit. You got to learn that just because you think something don't mean you need to say it. You got to learn self-control. That's a hell of a lot of stuff you got to learn. Hell of a lot of stuff you got to learn. But I think that when we live in a world where there's literally no fear of Yah, it's amazing that when we go out there in the world and we submit ourselves to these people because of a paycheck that's going to be given to us, because we got something that's going to be given to us, that when we get over in the kingdom, that we don't even put eternal life. We don't put a value up on obedience and eternal life the way that we do this monetary, natural stuff. It's unbelievable to me. It just don't make no sense to me. But you know, leaders, we have to demand the respect. And if they can't respect you and they can't honor you, that doesn't mean if somebody disagrees with you. We have ways that we can treat that too. We have ways we can go about up the chain and judge that too as well. Because none of the leaders are afraid of judgment. And we don't take bribes in judgment. But man, we've got to stop all of this rebellion and all this kicking and stuff. And the only way if we can stop it, if we have to remove you because you are a cancerous cell, because you are a disruptive devil, and if we have to continue to keep telling you the same thing over and over and over again, maybe this is just not for you. It's simply not for you. Because you're showing that in heart and mind and in spirit that you don't want to get with y'all's program. And if you don't want to get with y'all's program, then we can't have you messing up what y'all's doing, because there are some beautiful people coming to this ministry. Some real beautiful people coming to this ministry. And we simply can't have that. As a matter of fact, I received this text message yesterday from Elder Doug. I want y'all to listen to this, all right? Let me find this here for a second. And I'm going to show you how everything is changing literally right before our very eyes. When I talk to you about the old paths, the old landmarks, the old ways, I know y'all think I'm just making up stuff, but there's a season and there's a time to everything under the sun. And the old order, the primal order is the primordial order is going to be reestablished, and it is being reestablished either with you or without you. I remember people that would rise up and rebel, because we had at least 2 or 3 what you call purgings over the years, over these last 20 something years straight. We had 2 or 3 of these purgings where 4 or 5 families got together and they were going to rebel against the rule. I said, good. And, when you take a community and it's got 40, 50 people and it drops down to 15 or 20, that's a big hit. So guess what? As a leader, I have to make adjustments on what we're going to do as far as work, what we're going to do here, what we're going to do there. I have to make all these adjustments. But man, when these people rose up, oh yeah, we're going to show him. We're going to show him. You know what they all did? They all would turn around and they were all fellowship with each other. And they would have Sabbaths with each other. But you know what they lacked? They had no structure. They had no order. Who was going to be the leader? Because they were all together in rebellion. But who was going to be the leader after they have already practiced anarchy and were rising up against the authority and the established order of things, the chain of command that was over here? And they thought they were going to continue on for a long time because they were in one mind, they were in one heart, they were in one agreement, and they were going to run this thing. They were going to show us how to do it. And I would tell the people the straight way. I said, well, we only got 1 or 2 things to do here. 1 or 2 things. And we only got 1 or 2 ways we can go. And it's already established. It's already written in the order of the word. And there ain't nothing that all of us going to do about it. What we're going to do is we're going to find out who's of Yah and who's not. And it's not going to come by my mouth. It's not going to come by their mouth. We're going to see who Yah approves of. Because you remember over in the book of Acts, there were some people that rose up and thought themselves to be something when they were nothing. And what happened? They came to naught. That happened quite a few times. And the end counsel was, listen here, if these men, talking about the apostles, if these men are not of Yah, it will come to naught. In other words, the community will go down, the ministry will crash, and that's it. It's over with. It had a little run, and now it's over with. But Yah wasn't really truly in it. It was a construct and work of man. All right? However, if this is of Yah, you better be careful who you touching. Because you think you're fighting against man, but you're not fighting against man. You're actually fighting against Yah himself, and you cannot overthrow it. I can't tell you how many times over the years that people, Yah's going to bring you down. I don't have any problem with Yah bringing me down. He put me up so he can bring me down. I am his slave. I am his servant. That's all I am. I'm different nothing from a servant. I'm the under shepherd here in this, and he's given me this word, and you've been able to hear me. Whatever Yah does with me is fine with me. Makes no difference with me. That's how submitted I am. But I sit up there and I watch these arrogant disposition amongst these people who fancy themselves to be my judge. When Yah brought them to me, to hear me, to help them out, to help them advance, to help them to get to the kingdom, to help lead them to the kingdom. Now all of a sudden, I'm not that man anymore. Well, anyway, they get together in their little coups. I'm telling you, this happened 2 or 3 times on the community in the 20-year period. And man, I sit and watch them all, man. They get together and they do it for a little while. And all you got to do is just give it a short period of time. And now they're scattered. Just like the book says in the book of Acts. And they have all come to naught. And now they don't even have fellowship anymore. As a matter of fact, when you go and look at them now, all the ones that had this so-called revelation, all this truth, that had all this comprehension and understanding, that fancy themselves to be my judge and the elders' judge, and they could do it better than we are and all this other stuff, and they were together in one heart, one mind, one soul, one spirit. Well, we found out that they were listening to the devil, and the devil, who is more subtle, more cunning, more wise, more deceitful, a hell of a lot more than you are, use them to take away a lot of people from the faith, kind of like Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. You ever heard of them before? Use them to use accusations and slander, and use them to take away a lot of people from the faith. And when you go back years later and you look at these people, you're like, what happened to the holiness? What happened to the obedience of Yah? What happened to the praise of Yah? They go out there and they look worse than the world. The world, I mean, y'all's word tell you don't put no printings or no mark on your flesh. They get half their body tattoos. The Bible tell you don't paint your face. They make Jezebel look like that she's the most holiest woman, Sarah. That's what they make them look like. They go and do 20 times the amount worse. And everything that they was so-called judging you about, that's why the Bible says you better be careful when you judging folks, because with the same judge you judge, you may fall from it. And they go out there and they become whores. They have babies out of wedlock. I'm using the world terminology. 2 or 3 of them. They jump around from men to men, and men jump around from women to women. They go back, they return to smoking dope. And then next thing you know, so where's their testimony at now? I mean, and they bob their hair off. They do all these things. All these things. And mind you, when they left here, they were going to show us how it was going to be done. And let me tell you something. I ain't never seen nobody leave this and ever show me how to do anything. And I've been at this for almost 30 years. I've never, ever once in almost 30 years of ministry ever seen anyone that has rose up and rebel ever show us how to do anything. As a matter of fact, I watched them fall, and how great is that fall. That's what I watched. But see, again, I was here and we were here before you got here. And we're still going to be here after you leave. And we'll still be here if you're going to be here. We're going to be here until y'all's finished with us, because we're nothing but his servants. Same way with Jeremiah. Same way to Ezekiel and Isaiah. I mean, he told the prophets clearly, he says, you know what? I'm going to kill your wife, and you better not show any remorse. You better not cry. Jeremiah, you ain't going to get married. Yes, I am. No, you ain't. Need to watch. Click. Wife gone. See, I ain't toying around with the Most High Yah. I mean business with him. Extreme business. And I'm very serious about this. And I'm not doing this because of my health and all this else. I'm doing this because of the fear of Yah. He has led me and compelled me to go this way. But man, you people are off the chain. A stiff-necked, stubborn, rebellious, stout-hearted generation. And if I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times. And so all these people come to knock, and then guess what? They go away. You don't never ever hear me talking about them. Every once in a while, I'll bring them up. And then I've got many that are begging to want to come back to the ministry. Oh, Pastor, you should let them come back. Not the way not the way Satan used them. It doesn't give us a determination for how long I get to judge fruit. We're going to wait and see. We sincerely going to wait and see, because there's been a few people that have come back. And there's only been, and all of them that come back, there's been less than a handful that has actually stuck. As a matter of fact, the attrition rate that everyone that has left and we have allowed back in, well over 80% returns back to their vomit in the world. And you don't think we know what we're doing? And you think I care about your words or your judgment? People talk about Pastor Dowell like I'm a snake and the devil himself. And while they're calling me a snake and devil, guess who I'm looking at? I'm looking at the viper, the snake and devil themselves that have deceived the people. It's unbelievable. And then the very thing that they didn't want to serve, the ministry and the order of it, they go out here with these rebellious people. And then they end up, the one who was the rank leader, then they end up serving him, and he ends up abusing them and using them. And guess what? They're caught up in it. It's unbelievable. So they all come to naught. Either way it goes, they all come to naught. All right? So what I was going to read right here to show you how things are returning, whether you like it or not. I'm going to read you this real quick, what Elder Doug sent me. Now I got to find it again. Check this out. Elder Doug writes, sir, I just literally dealt with an Isaiah 4:1 situation. A woman from Illinois was laying it all out. She wanted to move here. She would take care of her own needs, and she needs a man to take care of her because she is all alone. Watch this. That was the short version. Also spoke with a single older woman with 2 young girls. desperate to find a way of escape out of the city because none of her family believe her about these times. Wonder if there is going to be an uptick of desperate women calling. Yes, it is. I told you I was. I literally told you it was. We are in the restoration of all things. And so while people are acting foolishly, and I've always said this, you are replaceable. I've seen people leave here with the name David, and then y'all will bring 2 more people here by the name David. I will see 1 or 2 sisters leave, and then y'all would immediately replace them with 2 more sisters that were better and more faithful than the ones that left. I've seen it all happen all over the place. So you are expendable. Y'all don't need you. You better get this Christianity spirit out of you. Y'all don't need you. He don't need me. He don't need you. But I'm a bondservant. I'm in chains. I am in chains, and I'm in fetters, and I am bound by Yah. I can't go nowhere because no matter where I go, this earth ain't big enough for me to run and hide. I am literally on lockdown. I am literally a slave to the Most High Yah. And I get it. I'm the prisoner of Yah, the prisoner of Messiah, the prisoner of the Lord. I am. And so, hey, I hope that some way, somehow people get this. Listen, we can't continue to go forward undisciplined and uncouth. And we can't continue to go forward if we're not going to be professionals in this walk, in this way. There's a higher standard. There's more required of us than the people in the world. A hell of a lot more. And too much is given, much is required. And we're given the kingdom, so guess what? The requirement is going to be much. And when you start relaxing things, and we bring judgments on you, you're fortunate if you even get a judgment. You're fortunate if you get that. But we cannot tolerate, and we will not tolerate all this uncouth, untamed rebellion and stuff to where we're supposed to automatically continue to keep putting up with all this disarray in Israel. It's just not going to happen. And as I get older, I remember I used to scream and holler younger, but I had a long fuse. Well, now I don't scream and holler as much. I do a lot in preaching and teaching and still do that, but I don't scream and holler as much. What does I do? I make a hell of a lot of judgment and I make movements. That's what I do. I let my actions speak louder than words. My fuse used to be like this. Now it's like this. I ain't got time for it. Because see, when I'm older now, so I don't have the patience. I do have patience. I have allowed it to have its perfect work. So I just already know through experience, the way that this is going to go with you. Because I done been there, done that. Is that making sense? So I hope that some way, somehow, thought has definitely been stimulated in this. And that the fear of Yah will not depart from your heart.